The RDX gets refreshed sharing elements from the MDX. Today, Regal Acura has given us the 2022 Acura RDX A-spec in your performance red carryover powertrain. The sporty A-spec gains new wheel design. Inside, standard aluminum on all trims. The A-spec adds sportier interior, leather and ultra suede. Performance and luxury meets together with rivals like your BMW X3, Audi Q5, or your Volvo XC40. Which one's going to be better performance driven, styling, luxury, all in between? I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and we're going to go over all the specs and details starting now. Acura RDX has a wider profile at 74.8 inches. What I like is how everything gets integrated. So it starts off on the lower bit of the bumper with the gloss black inserts underneath the fog lamps. And in the center, you're going to get the gloss black with the clearance at 8.2 inches, which is pretty sufficient compared to the rivals. And how the air vent on the side that's functional with that gloss black flows into your diamond pentagon grille with the gloss black that's going to surround it, keeping that motion image. 7 LED jewel headlamps that's going to be integrated above it, and you can just see how they really have fit everything nice and flush. That way it keeps that design and sporty cues, working up to the proportioned hood that gives more of a performance stance. And when you're comparing this against that BMW, Audi, or Volvo, you're going to see that the elements of this is going to scream more performance, especially with the savings around $5,000 to $8,000. Working over here, you're going to see how the headlamp assembly connects to the aerodynamic lines on the fenders that go over these 20-inch dark gray 5-spoke alloy wheels. The disc reading behind it at 12.4 inches ventilated. The rear is a 12-inch solid McPherson strut front suspension and multi-link rear suspension. You're going to have a weight distribution of 57-43 on the super handling all-wheel drive. Amplitude reactive dampers, agile handling assist with torque vectoring. This is going to be the largest in class at 186.7 inches with a wheelbase at 108.3 inches. The A-spec is going to come into play with the gloss black on the lower door trim, and then on the lower skirt you're going to get the matte black, which is good for rock chips. You also get the treatment over the window seals, but they only do it on the top part and it goes all the way to the rear. So I do like how they're doing the styling elements, and they do keep it still in the center too. So it has a two-tone look to it, the way that they've polished it off. The A-spec badging in the aerodynamic lines, just paying attention to detail, very similar to the other luxury lines. The gloss black integrates into the A-spec lower roof spoiler and on the side trim, integrating into your LED headlamps. Going down to the lower bit, all trims will have a rectangular exhaust except for the A-spec. You're going to get these massive exhaust pipes with the diffuser gloss black. You get the grille pattern in between. The reflectors, I wish they were a little bit more sleek and small, because comparing it to BMW, Audi, or Volvo, I think they do a little bit better with that. But in the same category, we're looking for safety here, and that's what you're going to get. Towing at around 1,500 pounds, which will not be the best in class. However, going inside to your cargo, at 29.5 cubic feet. You got storage that goes underneath it. You can flip it over. The rear bench split folds at a 60-40 split that's going to max the cargo to 58.9 cubic feet. This is going to be more than the Audi Q5, close to the BMW X3 and the Volvo XC90. Turbocharged engine. Let's hear that exhaust note. The Acura RDX a-spec packs the sports styling elements, performance and luxury that meets itself. And the best part is the performance in this is actually going to be the best with horsepower and torque, and they back that with a 2.0 liter VTEC turbocharged four-cylinder producing 272 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque that's paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission, achieving 22 to 26 mpgs. The super handling all-wheel drive will get a 0 to 60 at 6.6 seconds with a quarter mile at 15.2 seconds, top speed at 113 miles per hour, stopping 70 to 0 at 174 feet. Now these numbers are going to equivalent to a little bit less in the performance numbers compared to BMW, Audi, or Volvo. However, the horsepower and torque will be more in this. The styling cues to it when you get the A-spec just gives that sporty styling. Then we got the luxury to blend with it because it's Acura. Let me know in the comments what you think about the 2022 Acura RDX A-spec as we go into the interior, go over the tech, and take this for our test run. Entering inside the Acura RDX A-spec, you're going to receive 40 inches of headroom, 42 inches of legroom. It's an ebony A-spec bucket front seats, 12-way power adjustment for the driver and passenger, heated, ventilated, perforated. You get the contrast stitching. You receive ultra suede inserts as well, so it's going to help you whenever you're doing some off-roading. The modern interior / luxury and performance, you're going to receive it starting on the dashboard with the ultra suede inserts, contrast stitching, aluminum underneath it, gloss black on all of the air vents, so paying attention to detail, that's what Acura is doing, sitting on top a 10.2-inch non-touch screen, which the competitors will have. So you can see, but you do have Acura's true touchpad, which is very unique. Whenever you click on the top left, it'll be for your navigation. The top right will be for your FM radio. You do not have the pinch or the swipe gesture feature because of the sensitivity. However, you do have a side screen on the passenger that you could scroll through an array of information as well. You have wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, AM, FM, HD radio, Sirius XM, Bluetooth connectivity, streaming audio, Alexa built in, switch to reverse. You do have trajectory. Using that Acura True touchpad, you can change the configuration to make it easier for your reversing. Wireless charging pad is going to be set up right here by the driver with a 12-volt and a USB-C and some storage area here. I do like the 2 tiers because it's really optimizing storage. Starting on the top, you're going to get the gloss black that's going to wrap around everything with the dual climate control settings. You have your driver mode select, your push buttons to put it into gear, palm rest holder, cup holders. I would say you can fit a 20 ounce, this is 16.9 ounce water bottle. There's another USB port with that aluminum tray. Open up inside here, it's deep, it's just not so wide. For the elbows, it's pretty comfortable, which again, luxury performance, I like that. The contrast stitching is everywhere. A-spec, perforated, and leather wrapped steering wheel with the A-spec badging. You have the silver multi-function paddle shifters, the gauge cluster. You can go through an array of information on the digital side for your miles per hour in digital. You can do your navigation, go through your maintenance, or any safety features that you need to make it easy for the driver. Odometer and tach is going to be analog. Door panel starts off with hard material. You get the aluminum inserts with the memory for the driver. Ultra suede inserts with that contrast stitching. ELS Studio 3D Premier Sound, 16 speakers. That's what we have here. That's premium, by the way, and you get that with the A-spec. One touch up and down for all the windows, dual pane for the front, contrast stitching, storage. I would say you can fit about 3 to 4 16.9 ounce bottles. So it is very efficient for the front, for the luxury and performance, just missing that touch screen, which is something that it is what it is, but this is a sensitive little touchpad, and it's very unique and intuitive. The panel goes all the way back to the back seat, so let's see how long it takes. It's actually pretty quick when you're comparing it to the rivals. Let's see how I look in the back seats. One thing to note about the Acura, this is the largest amongst the rivals, and it's going to be a little bit smaller in the interior dimensions, but 38 inches of headroom and 38 inches of legroom. At 6'3", I can fit without too many issues. The floor is almost flat. You do have 2 USB-C ports in your central air vents with storage behind both of the front seats. Cup holders in the center, a 16.9 ounce water bottle. I'd say 20 ounces max. Again, for the elbows, very soft and luxurious. The pano is pretty wide and it comes behind me, which I do like that. And you don't sit like a soldier. actually sit pretty relaxed. The ultra suede inserts hold you if you're going to do cornering. Starting on that door panel, harder materials on the top, ELS premium sound system with the ultra suede inserts, the contrast stitching, one touch up and down. The best part though is everything that's in the front is into the rear. Even your storage, I would say about 3 or 4 16.9 ounce water bottles. So they did a great job implementing the front to the back seat. Let's see how I look in the center. Sitting into the center, headroom is still no issue. Legroom, the same thing, just blocking the central vents and USB ports. However, for butt, shoulder, and feet space, it's pretty decent for the most part. Comparing it to the Volvo, it actually has a little bit more because the floor is not completely flat. That is one nice attribute with the Acura, is the floor area is almost flat, so it actually implements a little bit more space when sitting into the center. Even though this is the longest amongst the rivals, it doesn't feel that way, but they really utilize the space in the interior. So fitting 2 or 3 back here isn't necessarily an issue, and you could probably do it on a longer journey. Taking the 2022 Acura RDX a-spec out for our test run. 272 horsepower, 280 pound-feet of torque, 10-speed automatic transmission with the VTEC turbocharged 4-cylinder 2.0 liter. The thing that I do like about this particular vehicle is the tuning in this engine is phenomenal, especially for the price point that you're getting. You're going to be saving anywhere from $5,000 to nearly $8,000 or a little bit over $8,000, and you can hear it. It is super nice. It does show your turbo and it shows your G-force as well in the gauge cluster, so it is very sport derived. I do like how they've given some of that performance attributes and they're keeping the luxury elements. So the disadvantage is the sound is pumped through the speakers in the cabin to make it sound a little bit more performance. However, this is also done in Audi, Mercedes, BMW. So you can let those things really slide at the end of the day because all the companies are really doing it. We're gonna stop in the middle of the road as much as we can. Give her a go. It gets up to speed pretty quick. I mean, 0 to 60 in the mid 6 seconds. The competition is going to be a little bit faster, but at the end of the day, really you're concerned about the performance of getting up to speed in interstates and being able to perform in the vehicle. And you can do that with this vehicle. Quarter mile in the 15-second perimeter isn't necessarily too bad either. Pretty quiet. You do sit up pretty decent as well with the ground clearance. Checking the brakes. If I got to stop hard, I can do so as well. Turn radius at more or less a stop point is going to get about 2 lanes, and give her a little go. Super handling all-wheel drive. It does a great job with the active torque vectoring as well. You do have a lot of power. It's not 100% rear bias. However, when it gets to about 70%, it will be 100 to each of those wheels. It can go to whichever one to help you get better traction. Now, there is 3 things I like and 3 things that I dislike. If there's anything more than that, I'd be buying this vehicle. The 3 things that I like about it is in this refresh, they kept the attributes very simple yet modern and stylish, and they really did go all out, giving us a touch of the MDX in a smaller version. The second thing that I like about the vehicle is they give you the most storage of all of the rivals. So you could put storage cubbies anywhere, and you can't do that with the BMW, the Audi, or the Volvo. There is some hidden storage here and there, but for the most part here, it's so open and they got so much of it, pretty well taken care of. The last thing that I like about the vehicle is in the cargo, they emphasize even more storage. So when you're getting these vehicles, they're basically family derived with some performance to back it. So that way, when the husband or significant other is driving it, he can still have fun with performance, and yet he could still pack all the gear. So they did, I mean, I hate to say it, an excellent job with that, because when you're comparing it to the rivals, you don't have as much storage. The towing is going to be a little bit less, but at the end of the day, you're not really wanting to buy this vehicle for towing purposes. It does have the good sporty styling because of that a-spec as well. I do wish that it would add to performance, and that is one thing I dislike. When you get the a-spec, it does not add anything to the engine option. It only adds aesthetics. However, the aesthetics that it does add, ultra suede inserts, for this price point, that is good. The second thing that I dislike about the vehicle is you're in a luxury price point. you have to have touchscreen navigation these days. Yes, it's a very intuitive Acura True Touch pad. It's very sensitive and it does a great job, and I'm sure you'll get used to it. It's just, throw a touchscreen in there. It's not going to cost you much more. It's probably going to be cheaper because this two different areas that you have to add and this kind of technology's got to cost more money. The last thing that I dislike is it isn't 100% rear biased, and the only reason why I'm complaining about that is when you get into the rivals like BMW, or if you get into Audi, BMW is going to be 100% rear wheel bias whenever you're doing performance. Audi, they do significant updates, especially when you start getting into higher tiers. But again, the price point that you're saving between $5,000 and over $8,000 comparison, it's really hard to complain about these things because you're getting luxury, you're getting the warranty to back it up, the technology in Acura Watch for all the safety. So for the front, the rear, the sides, you're covered. Dynamics, you can see it stays pretty planted. The super handling all-wheel drive is really good as well with that torque vectoring. As for the length, it is the longer one, but you know what? There is some area here of blind spot, but the blind spot monitoring does take care of everything else. As for the ride height, you kind of glide over everything at a 50-60 mile per hour speed. You will feel some of the bumps. These are upgraded wheels. Nothing you can really do about that. But I mean, an everyday vehicle, you can drive it and just really enjoy it. Road noise, because they're upgraded wheels, you're going to hear it through the wheel wells, but that's pretty much it for the gist of it. Very smooth car for the most part. If you needed to get a little bit more premium and excited, just hit that throttle. I like to thank Regal Acura here at Lakeland, Florida for giving us this 2022 Acura RDX A-spec for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, click that subscribe button. Check out the details, the merchandise, the website, and everything we do here at Hawkeye Rides.